Hello, everybody. Today we are going to be talking a little bit about planning a Disney cruise. Now, I hope you guys have all enjoyed our family vacation videos that I've been posting from our previous trip to Walt Disney World in November. I'm pretty sure I've posted all of them up until the last date. So, yeah, I did. Um, so now I actually want to do a little series on planning vacations. And for those of you who don't know, I am an authorized Disney vacation planner, and I actually am a licensed travel agent with Personal Pixie Dust Vacations, and so I do all kinds of vacation planning, but I specialize in Disney and Disney Cruise Line and Adventures by Disney, Disneyland, anything Disney is what I specialize in, and it's probably my favorite to plan. Um, we are going on a cruise in about a month. Yeah, I think it's just about a month now. The end of February, we're going on the Disney Dream for 3 nights to the Bahamas. We have done this cruise before. Um, this was actually a little extra gift that I surprised Elyssa and Sean with this year. So we kind of wanted to just get away from this cold weather and get back into the nice, sunny, warm, tropical weather for a few days. So we're actually going to be heading down to Florida in the middle of the week at the end of February, and we're going to be spending a couple of days probably just going to the beach or hanging around. We were thinking about doing Islands of Adventure. I'm sorry, not Islands of Adventure. We were thinking about doing, well, yeah, Islands of Adventure. Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure for one of the days before our cruise, but I think we're going to take it easy and kind of just relax. So I did book a pre-cruise hotel on Cocoa Beach in Port Canaveral, Florida. So we're going to stay there for 2 nights, and then we're going to board our cruise ship on Friday, and we're going to cruise until Monday down to the Bahamas. So, with that being said, I kind of wanted to do a little vlog about planning a Disney cruise. Now, my very first suggestion when planning a cruise is to use a travel agent, such as myself, who has experience cruising and who's been booking travel for the cruise line. And I suggest that only because there's a lot of details involved with a cruise that you might not be aware of. Even if you have cruised before, there's a lot of details that pop up that a travel agent can help you with. So my very first suggestion is to find a good travel agent, preferably me. And if you do want to contact me about booking a Disney cruise, I will put my information below. You can actually follow the link below to my website and fill out an online quote form, and I will get in touch with you and kind of go through the details with you. But I also am going to give you some tips once you have decided to go with a travel agent. Or actually, prior to contacting a travel agent, you might want to do a little bit of research, which is kind of what I'm going to be talking about today. So planning a Disney cruise. The first thing that you really want to consider when you plan a cruise, and that's to anywhere, is when do you want to travel? When can you travel? When is your work going to let you, take some time off to go on a vacation? Sometimes people like to go during the summer, sometimes people like to go during the winter. There's pros and cons to both, but that's basically your first priority, is to find out when you want to travel. Now, your time frame also is important because you want to know how long you're going to have. So are you going to have a long weekend? Are you going to have a whole week? Are you going to have 2 weeks? How much time are you going to spend? And also, this is kind of where budget falls into play too. How much money are you going to have to spend on this? So, if you want to kind of be more budget friendly, obviously a shorter cruise will be better. You know, if it's something that you maybe only going to do once a year and, you know, you want to spend a week, then, you know, you want to kind of figure out what a good budget for you and your family, you know, if you have, you know, 4 in your family or if you have 8 in your family, you know, that's going to definitely determine, you know, what you'll be able to afford, what kind of cruise you'll be able to afford, and all that. So the first thing is to figure out when you want to go. There's some different times a year that are better to go than others. For instance, if you're looking at value, I would say a September cruise is a good option only because in September there are quite a few cruise options, and the price of the cruises are quite a bit less, or you get a good discount if you go during September. Now, September is the start of hurricane season if you're going to the Bahamas or the Caribbean. We actually went on a cruise in September the last time we went, and we didn't have any issues at all. There was a few thunderstorms, but nothing major. And honestly, you know, I haven't heard a whole lot about any, you know, cruise incidences where it being hurricane season and them having issues. Um, but September is a good time to go. It is on the warmer side, so you're going to get the nice warm weather. The water is going to be warm in the Caribbean and down south of Florida, and it's going to be reasonable. Another good time to go would be in like January after the new year, between the first part of January into like the first part of February, before February vacation. Now, once February vacation hits, prices are going to go up a little bit, and you're going to be paying a little bit more for cruises because people obviously want to get out of the cold weather and want to, you know, head south. And a lot of people do that while their kids are on vacation, either during February vacation or April vacation. So that's when, you know, the middle of February to like middle to end of April tends to be a little bit more on the pricey side. Now, during the summer, if you decide to go on a cruise during the summer, there's a lot of options for cruising during the summer because there's a lot of different destinations for cruising during the summer. Now, once you've kind of decided when you want to cruise and for how long you want to cruise, then you can kind of pick where you want to cruise to. So, for instance, the Bahamas, which is a really popular Disney destination, you can cruise to that any time of the year. You know, from January to December, you can cruise to the Bahamas. But you obviously can't cruise to Alaska during, you know, the cold months. Alaska is only during the summer. So if Alaska is a destination that you want to go to, you're going to have to cruise to that during the summer. Okay, so as far as destinations go, the popular ones, obviously, the Bahamas and the Caribbean are probably the two most popular cruise destinations that Disney does. There's also the Alaska cruise. There's the Pacific Coast cruise. There's a few new cruises in the European region, which one of them is going to Norway, which I'm really hoping that we can do within the next couple of years here. There's the Hawaiian cruise, which is very limited, but they cruise to Hawaii. And then there's the cruises that go down to Mexico and through the Panama Canal and down in that area of the world. So figuring out when you want to go and where you want to go are like your top priorities. And this is where a travel agent can really come in handy because we have access to, you know, all of this information. So for instance, you want to go on a cruise in February and you want to go to Mexico, then, you know, you want to speak to a travel agent because, you know, there's not a whole lot offered to Mexico in February. So they might be able to steer you, or myself would be able to steer you in a different direction. Now, another thing that you want to keep in mind is your travel to your port, wherever your cruise ship is going to depart from. Are you going to want to fly, or do you have to fly to a port? Where is the closest port to where you live? Your flight to that, you want to keep in mind, you know, cost for flights to that port. You know, that is all going to play a part in with your budget. And this is again where your travel agent is going to come in handy, because they will be able to help you find the best prices on airfare, getting to that port or getting to the airport that's closest to that port. Now, Disney goes out of a few different ports, but again, it's seasonal. So knowing which ports are going to be available during which times of year is very important. Now, Port Canaveral is probably the most popular port because that's where a lot of the cruise ships that go to the Caribbean and to the Bahamas cruise out of. But there's also Miami, which again is a good option. There's Galveston, Texas. Then if you're doing a West Coast cruise, there's the port out of San Diego. And then there's the port out of Vancouver, Canada, and that is where the Alaskan cruise is from. And then if you're going to be doing any of the European cruises, there's a port in Barcelona, Spain, and Dover, England, and there is another one over there. But I know Barcelona and Dover are usually the two that are most cruised out of. So knowing where your cruise ship is going to cruise out of is another important step in determining your itinerary and where you're going to go. Now, cruise ships. Now, Disney has 4 cruise ships. They have the Dream, the Fantasy, the Magic, and the Wonder. And Disney cruise ships are actually rated the top cruise ships in the world. The past few years, they've been rated the top cruise ships in the world. I personally, once I've cruised a Disney cruise ship, there's very few other cruise ships that I would want to cruise on. I will not cruise on Carnival. I actually can sell Carnival cruises, but I try not to. After cruising on Disney, you just get spoiled, and just the quality and the service on a Disney cruise is like no other that you're going to find. So I have to say, if this is your first cruise and you're going to cruise Disney, be prepared to not want to cruise another cruise ship after this because Disney knows how to do cruising. And I think anyone else would probably agree with me on that. I think Disney is probably the best cruise line to go with. So once you've kind of picked your destination and found out where you want to go, and you've spoken to your travel agent, you've gotten a quote on your itinerary, they can very often, or myself, can set you up on some sort of a payment plan. Right now, Disney Cruise Line is offering a half-down deposit, and that is good, I believe, until the end of February. Don't quote me on that because I can't quite remember, but it's either the end of January or the end of February. But if you book for a cruise in 2015, your deposit that you would have to make, which I believe is usually 20%, which would only be 10% with this promotion going on right now. And it's kind of, nice to not have to put as much money down, and we can set you up on a monthly payment plan, and that helps the budget quite a bit, when cruising, because it can be on the pricier side. Just to give you a little example of a typical cruise, cost-wise, if you were to do a 3-day Disney cruise to the Bahamas out of Port Canaveral, for 2 adults and 1 child, such as my situation, we're looking at a cruise around $1,800. So it ends up being close to $600 a person for the 3-day cruise. Now, again, we're kind of going in a little bit of an off season, so that price is a little bit, on the lower side of what the Disney cruises can be. Obviously, if you're going to cruise during a holiday, if you want to cruise over Thanksgiving break or Christmas break or New Year's, expect to pay 3 times that. I want to say I quoted somebody this past holiday season for a New Year's cruise, and I want to say it was around $6,000 for the same cruise that I was just talking about, the 3-day Bahamas with, I think it was 2 adults and two adults and one teenager and one child, I think it was. And it was around 6,000. So definitely cruising during holiday times are much more expensive. And also, if you're going to cruise a longer time frame, you know, plan on spending anywhere from, I mean, you could probably get an interior category room for a 7-day cruise for, on and off season for $2,500 around there. But again, these are all just estimates. Prices change throughout the year, so that's something you definitely want to contact your travel agent and get a better idea on price because they can fluctuate. Now, different room categories, like once you kind of decide where you want to go and once you've decided when you want to go, now it's determining, okay, well, do I want an interior stateroom? Do I want an exterior stateroom? Do I want a balcony? Do I want a family suite? Determining what kind of room that you want. Now, I have seen personally quite a few of the different staterooms on the cruise ship. I have actually stayed in only a veranda stateroom. Now, the veranda staterooms are extremely nice. They have I believe it's a queen size bed. The one that we stayed in had a queen size bed with a sofa, and then it also had a pull down like bunk bed that came down over the sofa. So the sofa would turn into a bed, and then the pull down bunk would turn into a bed as well. So you could sleep 2 people on that area, and then 2 people in the bed. And then we had a nice veranda which had 2 chairs and a small table which we could sit out and watch the ocean. We had a nice vanity area with a TV. There's a split bathroom in those, so one half of the bathroom has a sink and a toilet. The other half of the bathroom has another sink and a full shower and tub. And then there was a closet area. If I'm remembering correctly, there was a closet area, and there was a lot of storage space for your luggage. I know under the bed we were able to store a lot of suitcases and stuff under the bed once we've pulled our clothes out of there. So I know that the rooms are fairly. I like the layout of the Disney rooms. I think they're very well put together and very easily accessible. So it's then time to decide on the room that you want. So also, once you've kind of decided on the room, or I should say, while you're deciding on the room that you want, you also kind of want to decide on what part of the ship you would like to stay. Now, there is different floors depending on the ships that you're on. They're similar. All 4 ships are very similar, but there are the Dream and the Fantasy are larger than the Magic and the Wonder, and they're laid out just a little bit differently. But many of the balcony veranda style rooms are on the higher floors. And then once if you wanted a room with a porthole, window that doesn't actually open, but you can see outside. A lot of those rooms are like on the back corners or the front corners of the ship. Then there's the interior staterooms, which have a magical porthole, which is on the inside of the ship. You don't actually get an ocean view, but you have an animated ocean view from those rooms. And any of this information can also be found on the Disney Cruise Line website, or you can contact me and I can, send you some information, send you a brochure with like a layout. I have actually a book here that actually shows all the room layouts, whereabouts on all, the whole ship on different floors, whereabouts the rooms are located. And, I'm not going to sit and spend all day talking about this because there's just so much detail, but determining where your room is going to be another part of planning your vacation. And once that's done, you kind of want to think of a few other choices. Now you're going to want to think of your dining. Now on the Disney cruise ships, everybody eats at the dining venues. They rotate. So There's a few different dining venues that you can go to, and every night is a different venue that you go to. You have a server that's with you your entire length of your cruise, so you will, get to know that server. They'll get to know you. If there's a food allergy or whatever, they'll know that ahead of time. They'll be able to, make accommodations for that. I myself am gluten free, so I have, on my past cruise on the Dream, we were on the Disney Dream. Every time I was, wanting to order, the chef would come out and tell me what my options were. Very often he would, make something special. If there was something, that wasn't on the menu that I had wanted, he would do that. They're just very accommodating to food allergies, so that's something that you're going to want to consider on, whether you're going to want, um, what your dining experiences are going to be. Now, if you don't want to do the sit down dinners, there's one every night. You can go to the other food offerings on the ship. There is a buffet area where you can go and eat whatever you want, however much you want. Again, food allergies, just talk to the chef. They'll show you what is available for you, or they'll probably make you something special if you need that. So there's that. There's also a lot of like fast food service areas where you can get pizza and burgers and all of that kind of stuff. So food is definitely in abundance on a cruise ship. I think that's probably common with all cruise ships, but I know Disney cruise ships, we never worried about food because we always ate very well, and the food is very good. Determining on what time you want to eat your dinners, they have an earlier dinner and an evening or a late dinner. One I believe is at 5 and the other one is at 8. Now the only difference with that is at night there's also a show every night, and it's like a Broadway style show on the ship. So if you eat the early dinner, you go to the later show. If you eat the later dinner, you go to the show first and then you go to your dinner. So it's weighing out whether you want to eat first and then watch the show, or watch the show and then eat. So that's another thing that you want to consider. Then you want to consider your shore excursions. Now, again, I'm not going to go into huge detail about shore excursions because there are so many different shore excursions depending on where you go. There's thousands of different shore excursions. For example, though, I will say, since the Bahamas is one of the more popular cruises, when you're in Nassau, you can go, walk through Nassau. That's not considered an excursion. You can just go on your own, or you can, decide to take a water ferry over to Atlantis and spend the day at Atlantis doing the Atlantis water park that they have there. That one is more on the pricey side, but it is definitely a fun excursion. They have catamarans and snorkeling, and there's actually a day trip, a shore excursion day trip in the Bahamas to the Blue Lagoon, where that old movie Blue Lagoon was videoed. And we're actually thinking about doing that this cruise because we haven't done this one before. So I think we might do the Blue Lagoon excursion. And it's just a beach day where you can go spend the day at the, tropical beach. It's a lot of fun. So there's tons of different excursions depending on where you're going. Again, this is where your travel agent can really help you decide, and show you examples of different things that you can choose. Now, if you don't want to do an excursion, if you want to stay right on the boat, that's fine also. They always have activities on the boat. Every day you will receive a newsletter which will give you all of your itinerary, or all of the itinerary that's going on the cruise ship throughout that whole day. So, you can pick off of that list, I want to do this time, I want to do this time, and, just it's a really good handy tool so that you'll be able to, you can stay right on the boat. You won't have to even leave the boat if you don't want to. Another thing that the Disney cruise ship does, and this is in the Bahamas and the Caribbean cruises, is they have their own private island, Castaway Cay. And that is a really, really, it's probably one of my most favorite things to do on the Disney cruise because it's like a tropical oasis. The cruise ship pulls right up to the port right on the island. You get off, there's actually a little tram that will take you to the beach area. You can spend the day laying in a hammock, you can lay on the beach, you can go snorkeling, you can go for a bike ride to the other side of the island. There's an adults only area of the island also, which if you're just if you're just an adult couple or whatever, and you want to go there and have a little quiet, more romantic, relaxing atmosphere, there's definitely that offered. And also, there is an amazing lunch that they offer, and it's like a lunch buffet, and they have a little like cabana area that has a huge assortment of foods, so you can go and eat between, I don't, there was a time frame like between 12 and 3 or something like that, where you could go and help yourself. They had like chicken and corn on the cob and um, everything, like all kinds of like picnic kind of, offerings for food. The food was amazing. So yeah, there's just so much you can do on Castaway Key. It's a full day. You can easily spend a full day there. A lot of fun. I love it. I definitely look forward to doing that again. We actually fed the stingrays when we were there last time, and these are like some of these things are added excursion prices. So this is something you can talk to your travel agent about, or you can, once you're on the ship, you can talk to guest relations on the ship, and they can kind of guide you there as well. Another thing I wanted to talk to you quickly about when planning is gratuities. Now, gratuities are paid at the end of your trip, so at the end of your vacation, depending on how many days you are traveling. For example, the 3-day cruise to the Bahamas, they suggest $12 a day per person for gratuities. Now, these can be billed automatically to whatever credit card you have on file, like it would be billed to your stateroom, or you can suggest that you want to just pay it in cash. Now, how the gratuities work is on your last night, they will leave these little envelopes in your room, and you can either, they also leave these slips if you've decided to purchase it on your credit card or debit card or whatever. They will give you these little slips where you can write down how much you want to put on or how much you want to leave for gratuities. You can fold the slip up, stick them in the envelope, and then you have something to hand to your servers. Like I said, you're with those servers throughout your whole vacation, so you get to know them. And I think it's nice to have something personal to actually hand them, to say thank you for, providing us awesome service and a great time. So the recommended amount is $12 a day per person. So for me and Sean and Elyssa, it ends up being $36 a day. We kind of just calculate that right into our budget so that we know, because that will be added on at the end of the trip. Alcohol. On a Disney cruise ship, alcohol is not very readily available. However, they do allow you to bring alcohol on board in your carry-on bag. Don't put it in your luggage. It can't be glass, but if you want to bring a bottle of wine or something, they suggest, putting it in like a, plastic container of some sort. And you can bring that. You can actually bring a bottle that's sealed, and you can bring that in your carry-on bag. Now, if you wanted to bring it to a restaurant and have it at the restaurant, they do charge a corking fee for it. Um, but I know that a lot of people will purchase alcohol and just keep it in their carry-on bag and bring it on board. They will not allow you to bring coolers full of alcohol. So you cannot fill up a cooler with beer and, ice and whatever. You can't do that and bring that on board. But if you have like a 6-pack or whatever you want, you can put it in your carry-on and you can bring that aboard. So I know quite a few people, like rum and cokes, and will buy, a bottle of rum or whatever, put it in their carry-on bag, bring it with them. Now, all of the drinks, as far as like soft drinks, are unlimited, so you can, drink whatever you want as far as, soda products or juice or whatever. I highly recommend bringing a larger mug with you. Now, we like to bring our mugs that came with when we went to Disney. They're a larger mug with a cap on it, and those are like the Disney mugs when you're on the dining plan, the unlimited drink mugs. Bring that with you, so that way you can fill that up with soda, and you can add your rum to it if you want like rum and coke or whatever. You can add your rum to it and put the cap back on it, and you have that. So that's definitely a good tip to know. Um, I'm actually going to do a separate vlog on packing for a Disney cruise because I've already pretty much put together what I want to bring on our cruise. So I'm going to do a separate vlog on that. I hope that I have answered some of your questions. I'm sure there's a lot of things that I haven't covered. But if you have questions or you are interested in booking a Disney cruise, feel free to contact me. I'm also on Facebook, so you can follow my Facebook link below and just message me, and I will do my best to help you guys out. Hope you guys have a great day. Don't be too Disney crazy.